What the heck is this thing? China! A combination of millions of small brands fighting to land a hit product and a ton of readily available industrial resources has led to a bizarre culture of throwing ideas out there and hoping for the best. One of the devices to come out of that set of circumstances is this, the Gole1 mini PC. I saw this floating around my Twitter feed and I knew that I needed to get my hands on one for the video simply out of how nifty it looks. The Gole1 is a miniature PC that apparently went for the TV aesthetic rather than being a regular tablet. It even has a Wi-Fi antenna attached in a way reminiscent of old televisions. It is thick like a brick as well, especially if you compare it to a modern tablet, but it uses that extra space for ports. So many ports! In a relatively small size, this manages to cram micro USB, USB 3.0, micro SD card slot, 3 USB 2.0 ports, Ethernet, HDMI, headphone jack. This thing has more ports than any laptop I own. But what exactly powers this thing? Inside you will find an Intel Atom X5 C8350, with its included Intel HD and 4GB of RAM. Since it is similar to the X5 C8300 on the second version of the Intel Compute Stick that I covered in the video in the corner, you will expect the Gole1 to perform better, but it actually performs a bit slower. I suspect the cause of this might be the passive cooling it has versus the active cooling on the stick, or it might have to do with the fact this runs both Windows and Android, and I believe a significant amount of hacks went into making this dual boot possible, because the device has some weird, quirks. It will occasionally not recognize my 128GB SD card, it will occasionally not power up my USB external hard drive correctly, and there's this weird humming that sometimes comes from the device. It's weird, this whole thing is weird. What is the use case for this thing? The selling page does not seem to be entirely sure either. Connect it to a monitor to use it at the office. Connect it to a projector. Watch Netflix. It's the world's smallest computer. I'm starting to see this is a claim Chinese brands love to make. And use it to play games. I mean, really? Well, it does have a Windows partition, so games can be installed, but what can we expect on something like this? Usually, I use the HDMI output to show you game footage, but I opted to film the device directly this time to try and communicate how weird it looks to have games on this tiny screen. Although the screen in particular proved harder to film than I expected, but we're still going to do it. I started with Half-Life 2 with the super low configuration from the well-received video I did a while ago, and this device handled it fantastically with high performance in most test areas. Granted, even without the super low configuration, the device could at least maintain 30 FPS, so I needed to try something stronger. Like Portal 2 using super low graphics on 720, which also manages to maintain itself between 30 and 40 FPS in test chambers. Not bad, not bad. So how about Skyrim with shadows disabled and the super low graphics mod? The advantage of having such a small screen is that you can use low resolution without really noticing any difference, and in this instance with 768 by 432 I managed to maintain over 20 FPS on towns and very close to 20 even while in combat, which I'm sure some people would consider playable. Let's dial it back a bit. The small size of this device kinda reminds me of a Pip-Boy. So why not try Fallout 3 with the super low graphics from the video in the corner? This game did great, close to 30 FPS in most instances, and this is at 720. If you're willing to go low res, you might be able to play this game without making much tweaking. Now this is one hell of a good, long game. But not everything can be perfect. Since I have had some success with Rocket League in the past, I tried using the internal resolution scaler to get this working here, but no matter how much I dropped, the device struggled to keep up, and the killing blow was CSGO. Even on 800 by 600 and a 50% resolution scaler with super low LOD bias for the textures, the device failed miserably. So is this going to be your new gaming machine? Maybe, depending on what you expect. I still do not understand what is the exact purpose of this device, but hey, it looks pretty cool, and I might have some ideas for this in the future. Thank you to BangGood for sending me this device for reviewing purposes after I energetically emailed them after seeing it on Twitter. If you want more info about it, the link is in the description. And if you're contributing in Patreon, thank you for helping keeping this channel alive. You are awesome.